Questions. Give me a second. How would you describe your typical workday? Okay, very good question. As a project manager at TD, a lot of my discussions involve, a lot of my day revolves around meeting with different people, different stakeholders. So let's take an average day. I will have a average status call in the morning with the key representatives of the different teams. I will have technical discussions. I might have, and the thing is, it changes every day depending on what stage of the project there is. So you will have projects going from software development lifecycle and PDLC. So PDLC is project delivery lifecycle, and SDLC is software development lifecycle. So they kind of are somewhat related in a sense. So what you'd have to do is when your project goes from one phase to another, there are different tasks that you have to be responsible for. So for example, from a day perspective, I have to manage my financials. So I have to make sure where the people that are working are billing their time towards. Number two is make sure that the team is getting the right support that they need. And if there's any escalations or anything like that, I move that forward. And just kind of dealing it day by day. Lots of meetings, lots of human interaction, lots of problem solving, and that actually leads to more than just a simple problem, right? So sometimes it results in people issues. Sometimes I'll spend time with people. Why isn't it working? What can we do to help you guys better? So hopefully that helps with answering what's my typical day. It's quite interesting. Like a day to day, I think it changes quite a bit. But essentially, the gist of it is, I'm in a lot of meetings, in technical discussions, I'm in executive discussions. So I am trying to push a product or software from idea to the door, to the people out there. Okay, so there's a few more. What are your recommendations for a student who wants to educate themselves and break into the finance and banking industry? Resources, gaining experience. Wow, these are really thought out questions. Okay, for the finance industry, I'll be honest with you, I had no finance background. I had no banking, nothing. So all of the traits that I've learned is through time. What I would suggest is if you're into finance and banking industry, look into courses related to finance, right? So for example, if the folks that were asking those questions is engineering, there is management side courses. There are courses that you can take to understand more of the management side. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of it is on the job. You learn things as required, and you figure things out as you go. And I think being in an engineering society and being an engineering student, you really tend to channel that from your day-to-day tasks. You learn about what things are required, and you go with that. So there's no secret formula. I would say learn all the financials, right? Like for example, and one thing that I would suggest is look into financial accreditation. If you're into CPA, CFAs, if that's something that you're really passionate about, see if you can still do that with your degree that you have. I know people that have an engineering degree who have tried, getting more certifications because they're interested in finance and banking. Because banking is huge, and right now, I think some of the questions that I had was, what's the prospects in banking centers right now? It may not seem that exciting, but it's huge. With the world of artificial intelligence, data, big data, and all of that, data is the way to go. There's so much happening. A fresher in project management will get into the industry. I will be doing an international project management course with the real project under Prof. Okay. So project management, I think, let me share my journey of how I became a PM. Maybe that will help a little bit answering this question. Project management is more about, there's no secret formula, right? So yeah, you have your PMP, your guidance and all of that. Project management comes to more about your communication. How do you articulate yourself? That was loud. So how do you articulate yourself? How do you communicate? Can you put together a plan? Can you keep up with what's going on in your project? So the way that you could do that is getting involved in projects within your current class. So for example, if there's a task, for example, let's say that there's a party that you want to put together as part of the end of term. Figure out a way to make that party into a project, right? So come up with the plan, come up with requirements, come up with these type of things. So these are things that you could do to gain your skills. Because one of the questions that I saw earlier was, what are the things that you need to be a PM? And PM is a lot. Is understanding the technical knowledge as well. You don't have to go too deep. If you don't have a technical background, it's okay. But having a technology background helps you quite a bit in terms of being in technical discussions, because people will come at you with all sort of questions. Oh, you don't know anything technical. But then if you have that technical background, it helps you so much because you can have the conversation and mind my language. You can cut the bullshit because some people will say, oh, this is going to take 2 weeks to do this. I'm like, no, it's not. It's going to take you less than 2 days to do this because you enjoy doing it, enjoy learning about other people's career paths. I enjoy just learning. So this has helped me to reach my career that I have right now, as well as focus on my passions as well, because I realize that I really enjoy solving complex problems. I enjoy working with students, and I have too many interests. That's my flaw. I enjoy food. I enjoy lots of stuff. But the thing is, be careful of going overboard with your work-life balance because that could get very bad. So for me, it's just as a person, I just enjoy communications with different types of people as well. How did I get my start? Start was not straightforward, right? So I think going a little bit about my background is, so I was born in India and I grew up in Australia and Canada. So before coming to Waterloo, I had a very diverse group of experiences, and in that journey, I've just had this national just interest of just working with people and projects. And Waterloo is just induced my DNA a little bit more in terms of solving problems. So anywhere there's a problem, I want to be one of the people that helps solve it. That's probably my goal. I'd like to solve problems if you ask me what I'd like to do. What kind of technical and project management skills are required to be a PM? How can we acquire those skills? I guess it's similar questions to what we just talked about. Technical skills, I would say any technical skills. Learning how to execute a project from start to finish and going from ideation to the actual project out of the door. So everyone here is, has projects that are projects that are in their labs and all of that. These are all projects, right? So all that you're learning will help you in terms of a technical aspect of it. So if you're focusing on a specific area of project management, there are places where you can talk about. There are places where you can specialize in specific areas, right? So for example, I believe U of T has a course on data projects specifically, how to do data projects related to project management. So you can take a look at that. And I'm sure that there's tons of projects within Waterloo that has similar aspects as well. Management skills. Management skills are, oh boy, there's just so many. But leadership, communication, teamwork, those are things that, I want to emphasize it. You're gaining this by going through a university or college education. Because you're learning this as you grow. And these type of skills come to you, and it's on the back of your mind. A lot of people, don't take the time to pursue that a little bit more. So if you do that, you're gaining all the skills, right? And there's no one secret formula for this. You can just do anything that you want to learn all these skills. So I think I'll give you an example, right? So when I was a student, when I was overwhelmed with co-op and all of this, I really wanted to understand how do I balance my schedule. So I think one of my career counselors, she told me that take a calendar, break it up to different sections, allocate time for breaks, allocate time for studying, and then you see a better version of how you can accomplish those tasks. So I'm very structured at this point. I use calendars, I use reminders, notes. I do what I feel is good to keep me organized. But a lot of people aren't organized. A lot of people don't believe in calendars. So that's fine. But figure out ways for it to work. Right? If you don't believe in calendars, make sure that you have a really strong memory and go with that. Because, I'll be honest, it's really hard to keep track of everything that goes on. What advice would you give engineering students interested in pursuing a career in banking sector? Banking is actually quite huge now. So people don't realize it, but I was mentioning a little bit earlier, artificial intelligence, deep learning, big data, these are terms that you're very familiar with, and these are coming to the banks at a very strong pace. And I'm not sure if finance technology, like fintech, is something that you've heard of. These are things that I would strongly suggest you look into it because lots of the banks are doing research on it. TD has a research hub, RBC has a research hub. A lot of research is going into this. So definitely banking is a good option. There's lots of other areas as well. There is finance and there's banking. Bloomberg is another company that's a lot of Waterloo graduates go to. The banks here, insurance, lots of things. Sorry. No. Okay. What are the biggest challenging for a new engineering student entering the grad force, oh boy, lots of challenges. I think the biggest challenges that you're going to find is being able to keep up with the current competition that you have around you. So I don't want to be biased, but as a Waterloo student, you're coming in with a few years of experience already. In my mind, you're already a few years ahead in terms of coming into the workforce. But at the same time, you got to understand that if you think that and you don't work hard when you get your first opportunity, things are not going to go well. Because you have to understand that other people are just as brilliant, just as competent as you are, but you got to be careful with that, right? Because you never know what a person is, what a person has or hasn't until you start working with them. So I would say the biggest challenges are getting your foot in the door and being good at it and enjoying it. Because I think for me is I had a hard time accepting the consulting lifestyle, right? Because I didn't know if that was something that I enjoyed the most. And then I made the choice of leaving and finding something else. And for some people that stayed, and that's life. And one of the things that Larry Smith always says, don't be scared. Like don't let fear be the reason, right? So be brave and just get your foot in the door and just give it a try. It's like when you take a course. You try something, you don't like it, just don't take a follow-up course. Just do it for a little bit and then just move on. Hopefully that helps. Another few questions that I asked with my network outside is, what are some strategies to make more connections and taking initiatives that stand out from the rest? They can hire people. Because I know someone who I reached out to. He was a University of Waterloo graduate, and he ended up in LinkedIn, and he's grown so well at LinkedIn. I have chats with him from time to time, and we have great conversations. And he's someone that I kind of think that he's done really well of keeping in touch with his network, as well as grow professionally as well. He's done it really well, and I'm trying to do something similar as well. So in terms of thinking outside the box, that's really up to you. Like you can branch out into whatever that you want. You can reach out to professors, reach out to the community, reach out to anybody. Or if you're not the type of person who wants to reach out, make it internal. Figure out things that works for you. So if instruments, guitar, certain things that you want to do, learn it, enjoy it, and have fun with it as well. Because I think end of the day, you want to live a life where you enjoy what you do, but you're also having fun at the same time, right? Because a lot of people work a lot and they hate what they do. But the thing is, they have to do it because you have to pay the bills. Someone has to pay the bills. And the thing is, you have to do what you got to do. Like, I'm fortunate enough that I enjoy what I do. But there were times, like, there's certain things I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like what I'm doing, but I have to do it because that's my job. It's my responsibility. And I think another question was, how can you keep your eye on the goal? The questions around how to stay focused on the goal. That's a tough one. How do you stay focused on the goal is doing things that you feel are relevant and makes you happy, and it eventually reaches to the goal itself. So if you have a goal of, say, you want to start your own company, right? Do things that are relevant that'll help you form that company. If you do things that doesn't, it's okay, but make sure you figure out ways to reach that passion, right? So how to keep on your goal? Stay focused. Because I think focus is something that a lot of people lack, including myself, because your mind tends to wander. You tend to go to different places. It's okay, but at the end of the day, keep your objectives in mind, right? So one general career advice I would say is keep a plan, but don't stick by it day to day, right? So if you have a 3-year plan, say, I want to be a senior developer, I want to be a manager. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Figure out ways to how you can alter it, right? So I think one thing I would recommend is Larry Smith's book. I highly recommend taking a look at it because it's very similar to some of the things that I discussed today. Larry Smith, but this is a book. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. It's No Fears and No Excuses. It's what you need to do to have a great career. So I think I've started reading it. It's a great book, and it's something that I found a lot of value in it. And Larry Smith is interesting. He's got he's very passionate about a lot of different things. So I've enjoyed conversing with Professor Smith. So hopefully you guys would like it as well. Oh boy, a lot more questions on here. Okay. This is kind of funny. Do you think it's ironic that your initials and your role became PM as in PM? That's a very interesting. It's quite ironic. I used to, yeah, that's. I wonder who asked me that question. I thought about it. PM kind of just came to me naturally, and my initials are PM, and I have a PMP, and I hopefully get my PEng. I think just to be on the comical side, someone told me that make it credential, make it PIMP. Yeah, that'll be like your thing. It's like it's quite ironic. It's definitely a thing. Yeah. What are some major fields that require project managers? Oh, everything. I don't think there's a single industry or anything that doesn't require managers to manage a project from end to end. I would say, I'm sure university has PMs, right? Project managers that do different areas of work. Honestly, I can't think of a field that doesn't require people to manage anything end to end, because project managers manage things end to end. That doesn't matter what it is or a specific aspect of it, right? So you look at Apple. There are program and project managers that do specific things for Apple, right? Like they could be called different things. I believe Apple calls it engineering program managers, and LinkedIn call it program managers. So all these things are very relevant, and there's no specific field. All fields have possibilities of having PMs. Aerospace, finance, technology, oil and gas, OPG. I can't think of an industry that doesn't, because you need to do work. And what better way to do work than having a PM assigned to it, say, get the work done by X numbers and X days?